Hi, welcome back. So our goal this time is to play with a list of photos. And so a list of photos, it's kind of similar to things we've done in the past, like movie quotes and things like that. So instead of having, actually we've done photos before in the past. So instead of having movie quotes or something like that, we're going to have photo objects. So what we're going to do is we're going to keep it simple, just kind of like back we did in the movie quotes days. We're going to just make an interface up here. But instead of a movie quote, it's going to be for a photo. And a photo has different properties in it. So a movie quote had kind of like a quote and a movie. This one, really the only thing we care about is a URL. So really we could also say download URL would be the same thing, but I'll just say URL. So we're going to have a bunch of photos. And what we're going to do is we're going to have a stream to those photos. So we'll just call it the photo list stream. And it's going to be a Firebase list observable. So again, just like we did back in movie quote days, for photo objects. It says Firebase list observable. What are you talking about? And that's a Firebase list observable. And then we'll just say the photo list stream is equal to this.db.list. And then our list we're going to save in /photos/list. Cool, so I think that looks pretty good there. Oops, I typoed up here. It's going to fire off photo arrays because it's a list observable, not an object observable. And so this is stuff we've done quite a bit. And as if you recall, what we almost always do is we go over to our HTML. And I'm going to go ahead and come after this HR. And we make an ng for loop, right? So I'm going to go ahead and do a little bit more. So I'm just going to call this an H1 here, and it's just going to be called photo list. So just a little very pretty UI here. It's going to need an input, so I'm going to have to do that, but I'm going to go and do the image first. And the image is going to have an ng4 on it, and there's going to be a single photo of the photo list stream piped to async. So that's the type of things we've done quite a bit. Now, usually what we do is we have like other elements inside of this, but actually the element, there's only one element in the list, and that's the image. And so it's just going to use the photo.url right here. If for some reason it doesn't show up, we'll say alt of photo, we'll just say in the list. It won't happen, but we're just kind of being prepared for it. I'm going to go ahead and put an HR after it just to keep my page nice and pretty. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab an input. So I'm going to go ahead and grab this input up here, plus I'm going to go ahead and grab its BR as well. No real reason not to grab the BR. But the function I'm going to call, it doesn't matter what you call it, we'll just say photo selected for list. It's going to pass in the event, but not this other string thing nonsense. So let's go ahead and make that function. So you can go look at your page now. It just doesn't really do much. It says photo list and it says choose file. Looks like it took my other pictures a while to come in. But there's no photos in it, right? So let's go make this function photo selected for list. So I'll just go ahead and do it below here. So I'll just finish up that function. So it's going to be right there. Being a very lazy individual, I'm going to steal some of the code from the prior function. So it's going to receive an event of type any. It's going to grab the file. It's going to grab the metadata. So those are going to be verbatim lines. Obviously, if we have enough lines that are the same, we could refactor things into functions, but I'm not quite there yet. Then we're going to need a storage reference and an upload task. So we're going to need to put it up into storage. Now, the thing that makes this one different is where does it go in storage, right? So it goes to photos /list, and then it's going to go / somewhere, right? And so now we've got a problem of where do we put it? And so I'm just going to do it a lame solution first. I'm going to type in the words some unique key. Now that won't be the solution, but some unique key. We'll go ahead and make sure that it works the way we expect, and then we'll clean up the trash. So what this should do is when I click it, it should actually upload it to the path photos/list some unique key. So if I click it right now, I'm going to pick a small photo just because I want it to finish quickly. I'm going to pick a picture of me, which I know are small. It says uploading, and then nothing else gets said. If I go over to my storage, I can see I've got photos now, I've got featured, and I've got a list. And inside the list, I've got some unique key. The reason it needs to be a unique key is because this is going to be a list, right? And actually what we want is we want the storage to kind of mimic the database. So I'm going to delete this one, so I don't really want this guy. So I'm just going to select it and say delete. And what I really want is I want to know where I'm going to put it in the database for later. So like later, we do something like this. We do like a, an upload task like this. So down here, I'm going to do a push, right? So I'm going to say photos.list, and then instead of using a set, I'm going to use a push, and then that's going to push it in. When that push happens, it gives you a key, and it's a chicken and the egg problem, right? So this would give you a key, which is great, but you need to use the key earlier. So we're gonna cheat a little bit. We're gonna make a variable called next available key, and next available key. What we're gonna do is we're gonna steal this line right here, this push. So we're gonna steal that push, and we're gonna push up the empty string and say $key on it. So that looks pretty good. By the way, we've also got the stream right here, so we could have actually made this shorter, and we could have actually just said this is the same code, this dot photo list stream dot push, right? So same thing. We've just got another reference to it there. So what this gives you is the push pushes up an empty object and gives you a key for it. We're going to use this next available key in two places. We're going to use it here. So we're going to say, hey, put this into storage at photos list next available key. And then when our upload finishes, we're going to put it into that same path. We're going to put it into photos list next available key. And then instead of a push, it's going to become a set. And again, if you wanted that syntax is all just fine right there, but you could do it with, what the heck, I'll comment it out. I'm going to show you how else you could do it. You could do it with the photo list stream, and you could call .set on it. You could actually say .set, or you could say update. That's the actual method I'm for. So you'd have to say update the next available key with the information that you've got here, which is the upload snapshot download URL. I believe that either of those work, but I'm going to go ahead and do it with the stream just because I went to the trouble of making the stream. And what the heck, I'll never test that one. If you want to test it, you can test it. So what this should do is it should succeed, right? So it's going to do a push. So it pushes kind of an empty container. It does that just so it can get a key. And then that key it's going to use in two places. It's going to use it for storage using that key, and then it's going to use it in the database using that same key. So it's kind of a funny trick. That's the way we defeat the chicken and the egg problem, is we just push an empty object first, and then we use that key in two places. So let's go ahead and see if it works. So I wish I could scroll down more on my page here, but I can't. But if I say choose photo, I'll put a picture of me up first, and you can see that it crashed horribly. So I did something definitely wrong, and I'll have to go fix it. Oh, and I know what I did wrong. And that is that here I said to put up just the string, but it's not just a string. It's going to actually be a photo object. So I really wanted to say const photo equals an object, and the object has a URL on it of that, right? So we're not pushing up strings, we're pushing up objects, and so that's the object. So a little goof on that one. So come over here and let's try again. So choose a photo, choose a nice small photo, and it says uploading. It says upload is complete, and presto, you can see I'm there. If we go look at our storage and whatnot, so I have to do a refresh so that I can see my new files. We can see that I successfully put up 2 photos. One was from my failed attempt, one was from my successful attempt. They each got unique keys, which was kind of cool. And then over in the database, you can see that my successful attempt that went all the way through is saved here. So this one ends in FB9. So I'm going to go find the one that ends in FB9, and I'm going to keep it, and I'm going to delete the other one. So there's FB9, then that was my failed attempt right there. So I'm just going to get rid of my failed attempt. And then really to test this thing proper, I'm going to have to upload another photo, and I'll just pick a random bigger photo here. So it's uploading it, and then as soon as it's done, it'll stick it on after my photo. And assuming your screen is bigger, images just kind of stay on the same line until they run out of room. And I can put on another photo, doesn't really matter, I've just got a bunch here of Keegan, and it's going to stick it onto the end of the list. Now notice that it's not in reverse order. There's Keegan right there, isn't he handsome? It's just appending onto the end, but I don't really care because that's not the focus of this app. If you wanted to reverse them, I'm certain that you could. So this is the HTML needed to add the photo list. And then here's our TypeScript, which is needed. So we said, hey, we're going to have photo objects. I'm going to have a photo stream, just like I've done many times. And then whenever I upload a photo, I trick the system. This is the real trick right here. I trick the system by putting up nothing, and then I use that in 2 places. I use it with storage, and then also with the database, which is cool. So this is saving photos to a list. All right, come back next time for the deploy and just kind of talking about the lab. All right, see you then. Bye.